Welcome back to Torah in 10, Parshas Hazinu. I'm Jody Berkel, and I'm so excited to be here with you again. What's the life-changing idea Rabbi Sacks of Blessed memory teaches us this week? He says, if you want to change lives, speak to people's feelings, not just their minds. So how do we actualize our dreams, our desires, our goals for the upcoming year? Is it our intellect, our IQ, maybe our emotions, our EQ? Let's see. For many years, I thought that intellect alone was the greatest predictor of success in life. Only later were we introduced to the concept of emotional intelligence, which is our ability to understand and respond not only to our own emotions, but also to those of others. Rabbi Sacks says, there are fundamental elements of our humanity that have to do with the way we feel, not just how we think. Even more so, he says, is the importance of understanding how other people feel, the gift of empathy. That is what the Torah is referring to when it tells us, do not oppress the stranger because you know what it feels like to be a stranger. Emotions matter. They guide our choices. They move us to action. Intellect alone cannot do this. Rabbi Sacks says, it has been a great failure of intellectuals throughout history to believe that all we need to do is think straight and we'll act well. History has proved it just isn't so. The most powerful example for me took place on January 20th, 1942, at the Wannsee Conference, which set a new course for how the Nazis would deal with the Jews. Wannsee was a suburb outside of Berlin. It was where the final solution was formulated. What was the final solution? The complete elimination of the Jewish people. The draft document contained 16 signatures from the upper ministries of the German government. Of these 16 signatures, 8 held PhDs. Just think about that. Also, 43% of the concentration camp officers were either MDs or PhDs. I've been thinking about this for many years, and its message was echoed as I was reading the biography of the Lubavitcher Rebbe, who said, for it was precisely the nation which had excelled itself in the exact sciences, the humanities, and even in philosophy and ethics that turned out to be the most depraved nation of the world. Without the capacity for sympathy and empathy, we become more like computers than a human being. Our Torah is written in descriptive stories that invite us to enter the minds and the hearts of our spiritual forebears, to understand their experiences, their challenges, their dilemmas, their achievements, and their pain. It is, says Rabbi Sacks, the emotional dimensions of a life of faith. How does Moses, our teacher, transmit God's message in this week's Parsha? He moves from prose to poetry. He had to sum up his prophetic message in a way that the people will always remember and be inspired by. He knew that the best way of doing so is by music. So the last thing Moses did before giving the people his blessing was to teach them a song. At the very end of his life, the greatest of all prophets turned to emotional intelligence, knowing that unless he did so, his teachings would enter their minds, but not their hearts, because it's our feelings that move us to act and give us the strength we need to live our values and hand down our precious heritage to those who come after us. From Rabbi Sacks, I learned that intellect alone does not inspire within us a passion to change the world. To do that, you have to take thought and turn it into a song. I can say personally, much of my passion and inspiration to go out and change the world came from music. I actually made a CD. Remember when you can actually do that? I called it Earth in Mind, and on it, I put all my favorite songs that inspired me to go out and make a difference. Before I share some of the songs, you should know, I think I've said this before, I'm a nature-loving environmentalist. Not the tie myself to a tree kind of environmentalist, but I never accepted the world as is. I always believed in the world that could be if we take responsibility to do our part in making it so. So my playlist included Heal the World, Big Yellow Taxi, Man in the Mirror, Another Day in Paradise, and True Colors. The music moved me to action because why? It spoke to my emotions. That is Parshas Hazinu, Moses, the man of intellectual and moral courage becomes the figure of emotional intelligence. The Torah is God's song, and we collectively are its singers. Why is this a life-changing idea? Because if we want to hand down our faith and our way of life to the next generation, it has to sing. If our Torah lacks passion, we won't succeed in passing it on to future generations. If we want to change lives, we have to speak to people's hearts, not just their minds. As an educator, there's a saying I keep close to my heart. It is, people don't care what you know until they know that you care. And for us, if we truly want to make a difference, intellect alone won't get us there. We have to take what we learn and move it into our heart because it's our emotions that move us into action. And remember, Judaism is a religion of action. Rabbi Sacks shares this truly life-changing idea. Speak from the heart to the heart, and mind and deed will follow. Shabbat Shalom.